Hi, my name is Max, and I'm from Montreal. I will tell you a story about when I discovered my mother was dating someone younger than me. I remember it clearly. It was a hot summer's day right after my 25th birthday. I was sitting on the front porch of my childhood home, sipping on a cold drink and enjoying the breeze. My mother, Mary, was inside, cooking dinner for us. We had lived together ever since my father passed away, and although it had been challenging at times, we had managed to build a happy little life together. As I was lost in my thoughts, I heard a car pulling up in front of the house. I looked up and saw a man stepping out of the vehicle. He was tall, with dark hair and piercing blue eyes. He looked around my age, maybe a little bit younger. "Who is that?" I asked myself, intrigued. A few seconds later, my mother came out of the house and greeted the man with a warm smile. They hugged each other, and I could see that there was something special between them. It was then that my mother dropped the bomb on me. She had met someone new, a man named Alex, and she wanted me to meet him finally. I was shocked and a little bit confused. My mother had been single for years and had never been interested in dating again. But here she was, with a man who seemed genuinely interested in her. And to make matters worse, he was younger than me. I was skeptical about this new relationship. How could a man younger than me be interested in someone as old as my mother? Over the next few weeks, I saw my mother and Alex spend more and more time together. They went out to dinner, took long walks in the park, and even went on a weekend getaway. My mother was happier than she had been in years, which made me happy too. But simultaneously, I couldn't help but feel slightly confused. What did she see in him? What was so special? What did this mean for our family dynamic? I decided to talk to my mother about my concerns. I asked her how she felt about dating someone younger and if she was worried about what other people might think. She laughed and told me that age was just a number and that she was happy to be with someone who made her feel alive and loved. I couldn't bring myself to argue with her. I genuinely was happy for her, but I did feel dejected. Why couldn't my mother have picked an older man? This was all too sudden, too weird, and moving too fast for me. My mother and Alex's relationship started to become serious. They started talking about moving in together, and my mother even mentioned the possibility of marriage. I was happy for her, but at the same time, I couldn't help but feel a little bit jealous. It was like Alex had taken my place as her partner, and I wasn't sure how I fit into this new dynamic. I'm sure Mom could also see that though time had passed, I still harbored negative feelings towards Alex and struggled to find common ground. So she forced Alex and I to spend time together, which was incredibly awkward and funny. Mom invited me to join her for a picnic in the park one Sunday. I had agreed to come even though I knew Alex would be there. When I arrived, my mother and Alex immediately started setting up the picnic blankets and food, leaving me to sit awkwardly on the sidelines. Watching them laugh and joke around, I felt like an outsider. I couldn't help but feel jealous of the easy rapport they had with each other, and I wished that I could be part of it. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew a frisbee out of a nearby group's picnic area and straight toward us. Without thinking, I jumped up and ran towards it, eager to show off my frisbee skills. Unfortunately, I tripped over my feet and fell flat on my face in front of everyone. I was mortified. But Alex was the first to rush to my side. He helped me up and checked to make sure I wasn't hurt, all the while trying to stifle his laughter. And then, to my surprise, he suggested that we all play a game of frisbee together. At first, I was hesitant. I didn't want to embarrass myself again in front of Alex. But he persisted, telling me that it was just a game and that we were all there to have fun. So I reluctantly joined in. As we played, I realized that Alex was actually really good at frisbee. And instead of making fun of my clumsy throws, he offered me helpful tips and encouragement. We laughed and joked around, and I felt like I was part of their little group for the first time. It was a small moment, but it changed everything for me. Alex's kindness, maturity, and understanding showed me that he didn't have to threaten me. He was just a person like me, and he was willing to make an effort to include me in their dynamic. From that day on, I made a conscious effort to get to know Alex better, and I started seeing him in a different light. I realized that he was actually a really cool guy. He had a quirky sense of humor and a love for adventure, and we bonded over our shared interests. And while our relationship wasn't always perfect, that moment in the park showed me that I could let go of my jealousy and embrace Alex as a friend and family member. We would hang out, attend sporting events, and even take trips together. He was like a brother to me, and I felt like I could talk to him about anything. As time passed, I saw that he genuinely cared about my mother. He was easy to talk to, and we often spent hours discussing movies, sports, and life in general. It was like he had taken my place as my mother's partner, but at the same time, he had become a friend to me too. As my relationship with Alex grew, so did my understanding of my mother's situation. I could see she was happier than she had been in years, which made me happy too. She deserved to be with someone who made her feel alive and loved, no matter his age. Eventually, my mother and Alex did get married. It was a beautiful ceremony, and I was honored to be Alex's best man. And although their relationship changed our family dynamic, it also brought us closer together. We were no longer just a mother and son, but a family that had grown to include Alex. Looking back on everything that had happened, I realized that my perspective on relationships had shifted. I had always believed that love had to conform to specific standards, that people should only date those who were the same age or from similar backgrounds. But seeing my mother and Alex together had shown me that love didn't have to fit into a box. Their relationship showed me that love was more than age or social status. It was about finding someone who made you happy, who made you feel loved, and who made you a better person. And in my mother's case, that person was younger than her son. I also realized that my jealousy and confusion stemmed from my insecurities. I had been so used to being my mother's sole partner that I wasn't sure how to fit into this new dynamic. But everything fell into place once I had let go of those insecurities and allowed myself to embrace Alex as a friend and family member. My mother, she was happier than ever. She and Alex had built a life full of love, laughter, and adventure. They traveled the world, tried new foods, and even took dance lessons together. They proved that love could come in unexpected forms and last a lifetime. Ultimately, I learned that love was about being open-minded, accepting, and embracing new experiences. It was about letting go of preconceived notions and being vulnerable. And although my mother's relationship with Alex had been unconventional, it had taught me more about love than any textbook ever could. If you enjoyed this story, do like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tell us what you think you would have done in Max's place in the comments below.